So I wanted to start this out with a little bit of clarification and some updates on stuff before we get into it. Now, this video is going to be a little longer. If you enjoy it, I guess enjoy is a strong word. Please let me know in the comments down below. Please leave a like. A lot of these videos don't actually reach many people because the algorithm recognizes me for Batman and not Star Wars or really anything else. So it does help me. And I want to say, too, that there were some things that I say in this video in anger that I'm not going to walk back or apologize for because I do mean them. But I will definitely come across as angry at this. I don't like this behavior. Basically, we have a YouTuber, Star Wars Theory, who is, by all accounts, a great guy, extremely nice, cancer survivor, actually, who grew up loving and idolizing Luke Skywalker. I'm going to assume that you know some of the Mandalorian Season 2 in this video. You've been warned. Luke Skywalker did come back. Pablo Hidalgo, basically a Disney Lucasfilm, Lucasfilm's owned by Disney now, employee who is part of the story group at Lucasfilm for Star Wars, really came off the wrong way with a tweet. Basically, it came off as mocking Star Wars Theory for this. Now, here's the thing with this, too. He did apologize. Pablo Hidalgo apologized yesterday, and I don't want to be a dick about this myself, but I don't care. And here's why I don't care. He said, I wish to clarify that my post was that emotions are not to be shared with sarcastic self-mockery and was certainly not intended to be hurtful to anyone. And I'm deeply sorry that it was. As a lifelong fan, I appreciate fans expressing how they feel. It is what being a fan is about. We can't all be together in movie theaters and conventions right now, so please express yourself online. In fact, those of us not prone to such displays will quietly live vicariously through your energy. Now, here's the thing. Some of you are going to think I am not giving this guy the benefit of the doubt at all. It is actually the opposite. I am giving 100% benefit of the doubt that this apology was even made by him. Because if you look at his Twitter history, he seems to have an actual history of jumping around between accounts, using sock puppets and throwaways, having alternate accounts for, his real name, for other names, stuff like this. I have put some of this down in the description below so you can look at it yourself, and you will have to try and decide for yourself if you even believe that this apology came from him, whether it's meant or not. I don't know that it did because of how much this dude seems to jump around on Twitter between accounts. I don't understand why you do that because it just makes things more unverifiable that you do. So it's not really a good look as well when you're trying to apologize for something. But assuming that this was from him, I still don't buy it as a real apology. I am going to just straight up say this is a well-written apology. I'm not mocking the apology itself, but Pablo Hidalgo, and this is all my opinion because we're dealing with Disney and all these things here, I will say that. This whole video is my opinion, but Pablo Hidalgo, in my opinion, has had an awful time relating to the fan base for a long, long time. And I'll show some of these tweets here as well. This is such an in-depth video. And I thought it was important to show you some of what he said in the past before we get to this now, because otherwise it comes off as one statement that can be disregarded through his apology. That's not how this works. Back in October of 2019, he was talking about how terrible the Star Wars fan base is because someone had said to him, that's why even though I'm a Star Wars diehard, wow, I can't read today. That's why even though I'm a diehard Star Wars fan myself, I absolutely cannot stand the Star Wars fan base. They are some of the most whiny, toxic man babies I've ever seen. And Pablo Hidalgo, who is an employee of Lucasfilm, says, it's always been shitty, but there's been an enclave of scientists uncovering new strata of shifty hitherto unseen. So basically Star Wars fans have always been shit. His accounts are protected and actually private. He did go on to say a ton of other stuff as well. He said things like, let's see here. Star Wars Takes is now the only Star Wars account I will follow. It confirms all my biases, which is what you want in an account. That was a joke. That's whatever. I make all kinds of off-color jokes as well. He took shots at saying, oh, you're welcome for the year's worth of content that the GIF I posted has given you. He also said about Star Wars fans, oh, why don't these shitheads ever block me? Because they need to see my account to make their pennies. He has also said things as well, such as, in the past, I like the take on capitalism from the consumers of licensed spin-off products. Talking about the expanded universe. He's just said so many bad things, man. Like, it's just, this guy has had a history of not being able to talk to Star Wars fans and not relate to them. I don't, and I'm not saying that that is bad in and of itself. I understand that to some extent. I've had some issues, even with members of my audience, with like us coming off bad to each other or me saying something that maybe I shouldn't have, and you can't walk that back. I agree with that. But when it's when it's just like a whole pattern of behavior, it gets really ridiculous. I just don't understand why they allow this level of behavior from this guy. I don't get it. I know that it comes off like cherry picking the past and stuff to look at these statements, but it's just sad. It very much frustrates me. And the thing with this that makes me not care about his apology to anyone, to Star Wars fans, to anybody like that, is the fact that this has been a pattern of behavior for him to say a lot of stuff that is just awful. He's retweeted an account that calls Star Wars fans racists and incels. I don't think your apology should really be accepted or cared about after, multiple instances of this behavior. This is the thing, guys. You have to understand, I want to believe that people can change. I do believe that. But if you are someone who does something over and 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 over again as a pattern of behavior, and then you get called out by a million people and all of a sudden it changes, I don't believe you. I don't believe that you're a better person at all. You know what I believe? I believe that Lucasfilm or Disney or whoever called down the chain and said, hey, dude, this is going viral. Shut the hell up. You need to apologize and shut the hell up or you're going to be gone. That's what I believe happened here. If you want to accept his apology, that's totally fine. I think apologies generally should be accepted when they're real. I don't believe this one is. T is a big fan of Star Wars, but we're Star Wars diehards,
I would say so.
We love it.
Especially Squadrons.
Oh, absolutely. Star Wars Squadrons. So we are going to weigh in today on Star Wars executives, or Lucasfilm executives, are now taking to Twitter to bully Star Wars fans, basically, or at least chime in on threads that are shaming them for having feelings, because I guess everybody has to be a Vulcan now from Star Trek. Logic over feelings. Anyway, if you enjoy this video, please leave a like, sub for more content. We do talk about Star Wars actually fairly frequently. This really pissed me off. Now, to just run through the timeline of events really quick, Star Wars Theory, by the way, we're expecting that character inclusions from The Mandalorian Season 2, as far as people coming back. That's it. We're not going to get into the spoilers of any scenes or anything like that, just the inclusion of a character being here. You've seen it by now. Star Wars Theory is a massive Star Wars content creator. This dude has gotten a great reputation in the community online for just being an overall nice guy, very, very opinionated, absolutely, but I've never seen him be unkind to anyone. He's just a quality person.
He just seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, at least from how he presents himself online. And he cried at the return of Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian Season 2. Now, the thing with this was it was a big deal to a lot of people. This was more similar to the Return of the Jedi type thing, and that resonated with a lot of fans, and he does watch parties and stuff for this where he will record himself watching the episodes for the first time, and that might not be content for you. That's not the point. The point is that he's a huge Star Wars creator, and people love him, and they love this stuff. And he made a watch party, or he basically made a reaction to this episode and to what happened, and he cried. He was so happy, he cried. And, whenever this happens, we have these people who, the easiest way to describe them is a bunch of losers who try and tell you what you can and can't be excited for. Nate's laughing because I called the guy a bitch off camera. But anyways, we have people like Pablo Hidalgo who work for Lucasfilm, high up in the story group, which, by the way, I respect the hell out of the story group at Lucasfilm. They do a good job. Now, there's times where they absolutely drop the ball, in my opinion, but overall, they do a great job. If you don't believe that, check out The Mandalorian, But the thing with this is he chimed in on this thread that was basically mocking Star Wars Theory for having these opinions or this emotional reaction. where Star Wars Theory cried, and one of the opinions, or one of the people was saying, if you feel compelled to have an emotional reaction to Star Wars, by all means have one. I almost cried at Crate in the theater, and I've never cried at a movie in my life. Cool story, bro. Cool flex. But don't artificially recreate that shit for millions of followers. So here's the problem, first off, that I have with this comment, which was not Pablo Hidalgo. This assumes that he recreated this and just didn't actually feel this, which is, by the way, that is the most black-pilled, cynical take I've ever seen. It's like, oh, I saw you have an emotion? That must be fake to make money. Like, if you go straight there, that's the kind of person you are.
Right.
I'm sorry. Like, it just is. And secondly, then Pablo Hidalgo chimed in, and he's like, oh, emotions are not for sharing. And people thought, like, oh, this is like a sarcastic thing, like a joke, like maybe he was sticking up for Star Wars Theory. No, he wasn't. He's had a track record of doing stuff like this, like just saying douchey things, in my opinion, to fans. It was even called out in the thread that Star Wars Theory posted about it, where we have, now, I don't want to, I always look. As far as I know, Amber is a she. This is why I try to take screenshots early on, but kind of forgot to take this one. You're just going to see what I can see now after covering the original story, because the link to this tweet is now pretty much dead. It has been privated and limited who can see what she said about Lucasfilm and all these people. But to be honest, I totally get that, because she was probably getting a lot of crap herself. Just for sticking up for Star Wars Theory, probably went private for that reason. But anyways, that is what I have. And she said, take it from someone who applied to Lucasfilm's social media manager position, which has been relisted no more than 3 times in 1.5 years. Pablo and his friends are douchebags. They go around screenshotting fans' tweets to make fun of them. I complained to Disney, Lucasfilm, whatever about it. So, this is just sad. This is becoming their reputation.
Yeah, and the sad thing is they're supposedly adults.
Yeah.
And they're supposedly high-up executive professional adults that are not sitting in their room being children. Like, they're supposed to be really high-up people that make a lot of money and a lot of important decisions for these products that a lot of people really like.
And love.
And love
them.
And yet they're going on Twitter and acting like 13-year-olds.
Yeah.
It really confuses me too, because you work for a company like Star Wars that is possibly the biggest franchise of all, like, movies, media.
Well, these people are really trying to torpedo it from the inside. Right. So who knows how long that'll be true for.
This is arguably the biggest one. Yeah. If it's not, it's in the top 3.
Yeah, I mean, this and Harry Potter are two of the biggest fictional franchises of all time, and they probably will remain that way.
Right. Yeah. So why are you shocked that fans really get into your products? I mean, there's people like Star Wars Theory has pointed out in his video that he was a fan since he was 6 years old. He got into Star Wars at 6. When I was a kid, I actually watched Phantom Menace. I know, like, everyone just backed away, but I watched Phantom Menace when I was 6, and I really got into that.
Yeah.
I actually fell in love with Star Wars when I was a little kid, and I still love it now. So it's like, people get into this stuff when they're kids or adults or whatever, and they really get into your product because your movies and your games and your TV shows and everything, everyone just loves them. Everyone gets into them.
Well, and can we add to that, too, that these things are 2 things for people. One, they're a reflection of life.
Right.
They're a reflection of what they want to be. Now, nobody really wants to be Luke Skywalker from the Last Jedi at the beginning of the movie. I'm just saying nobody wants to be on the island drinking tit milk, fat and upset. But, people want to be a hero.
Right.
Most people.
Right.
Even bad people don't see themselves badly.
Right.
People see the archetype of the hero and they want to be like that. And so to make fun of someone for finding themselves in the reflection of that or being inspired by that is silly. So first off, this Dune Opinions account guy's a douche.
Right.
That guy's even probably more of a douche than, I think, than Pablo Hidalgo, because he didn't say as much. But he shouldn't even be here. Like, he shouldn't even be interacting with this unless he's going to say, like, well, no, you're wrong, like, we appreciate our fans or something.
Right.
Why is he searching out things that are harmful to the brand, that are making fun of fans for being passionate? And also, what kind of loser tells people they can't be passionate for something?
Right. Yeah, I mean, you get into Star Wars or something, and you get passionate about it, and then these like idiots go on there and they're like, "Wow, you actually are happy about this?"
People did this to you about the prequels.
Yeah.
By the way, you have personal experience with this. Nate got bullied in college and also middle school. I think you just kind of stopped talking about it in the middle there. But like in middle school, Nate talked about how much he liked the prequels. And this is what pisses me off about the sequel crap. There's stuff I really dislike in the sequels that I don't connect with. But if people like them, if people love them to death, more power to you. You know, if you love them more than me. I'm not going to like make fun of you for it. But you were actively made fun of for liking episodes 1 through 3.
Yeah, I was when I was a kid. And then I was actually, I wouldn't say made fun of, but someone made a joke about it, even in college.
You were ridiculed for it.
Right. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It's like, you don't like the prequels or the sequels or whatever. Okay.
Right. And you can talk about
Right.
it. Like, I could go, you know, I could write you a whole 5-page essay if I wanted to about how I think that they could have changed the sequels to make them fit better.
Right.
I think even a lot of the people who like them could. But I'm not going to bully anyone who loves them, just like I'm not going to bully anyone who hates them.
Right.
And this Dune Opinions account guy said, like, he almost cried at Crate. So it's like, dude, you're out here talking about your feelings and about how you got so into The Last Jedi. But because some other fan got into this thing that's more akin to the original trilogy, they're making it up.
Right.
Well, how do I know you're not making up your reaction? How do I know you almost cried at Crate? I wasn't
Right.
there. Even if I was, maybe you faked it. Look, what kind of logic is this?
Right.
It's like it's assuming everyone's a sociopath. It's like,
Right.
oh, like you're sitting there like Dexter, and you know everyone's watching you. You're like, I better fake cry now. What? And why is Pablo Hidalgo interacting with this? And why does he have a reputation with people like Amber, people like her, and other people in the community, and people like in droves liked these tweets and reshared it and all this other stuff? Why do they have these reputations if they are professionals for ridiculing fans, for mocking fans? It's been this way since Disney acquired Star Wars. And guess what? Before that happened, there was really almost none of this.
Right. Actually, George Lucas welcomed fans and their opinions into the Star Wars franchise.
And we're not idolizing George Lucas either. He had plenty of bad ideas himself, and amazing ones.
I like sand.
Yeah, I like his dialogue was badly written in 2, absolutely, and he made very silly decisions near the end of his holding Star Wars in terms of wanting to make stories too much about midichlorians and wanting to change the timeline and all kinds of stuff. I'm not saying he's perfect, but the man knew how to handle criticism. He didn't just lash out at everybody. He didn't go on Twitter and act like a little whiny prick.
Right.
He was a professional.
Right.
You know?
Well, and the thing that I do not understand about this whole situation is Star Wars Theory was watching your product, and he had a positive emotional reaction to something that you created. Mm-hmm. And yet you are interacting with a fan that's calling him out for that.
And not denouncing it or not anything. Now,
Like,
I don't mean to sound like the person who's like, hey, Trump, you got to denounce white supremacy every 20 seconds. I'm not saying that, like, that you need to like search these things out and denounce it. And if I don't catch you doing that, then I'm going to get mad that you didn't do that.
Right.
Now, that's not a political endorsement. I'm just saying that's been a meme online forever.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, well, it's been 30 minutes since I heard a denouncement of bad behavior from you or anyone around you. Do you like it?
I guess you changed your mind.
I'm not saying that that's the case. Like, he doesn't have to do that either. He can remain neutral and not do that. Absolutely. It's not his job.
But it's like the guy had a positive emotional reaction, and yet you're still like, wow.
Yeah, how dare you share your emotions?
It's like, what do you want of him?
But the thing is, it wasn't... There's going to be some people in the comments, probably those people didn't even watch all the way here, but I will say that probably think it was sarcastic. But the thing is, he liked a ton of tweets and then changed his profile to private.
Right.
Now,
like a coward.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Coward! No, the thing with that is, you can call this an assumption, you can call it whatever you want. I'm not saying he doesn't have the right to his privacy, but if there isn't more here, if there isn't more interactions here that are negative, he wouldn't have done that.
Right.
Would he? Would you do that? Like,
No.
if you said something like this and you said it sarcastically, like, let's say you came in to defend Star Wars theory and you said, oh, emotions are not for sharing, and you said that sarcastically as in, you're a dumbass for calling out Star Wars theory to the Dune Opinions account guy.
Yeah.
If you did that, would you then go private once you get called out for it, or would you just say, no, I meant this sarcastically, I was sticking up for him?
Yeah, I would defend myself.
Yeah. So what kind of... All right. What kind of coward just goes private at the first sign of one piece of criticism?
Right.
And by the way, all these people do this. These outspoken douchebags online that have some opinion that is douchey, as soon as they get called out by other people, like, no, dude, you're just a prick, they go private.
Yep.
They turtle shell, they cower, they run. They're cowards.
They are.
They're absolutely cowards. And the funny thing is you have cowards like this writing characters like Luke Skywalker, who aren't cowards. And hey, you know what's weird? It's a weird coincidence that we have people like this working on Luke Skywalker, and Luke Skywalker kind of turned into a coward in the sequel trilogy. Just kind of ran away and left at the first sign of criticism.
Imagine that.
Art imitates life. You know, I just hit the thing. You're going to hear that. I'm so sick of this crap with Star Wars, with Lucasfilm, with Disney, not being able to take criticism. We've seen this over and over again, and it's really frustrating. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, no one likes criticism. If you're getting trolled or people are just basically bullying you, that's not criticism. That's something that can easily be ignored or shot back at, I totally think, you know? But if it's like, hey, I didn't connect with this story, why are you going after this person?
Right.
And I was talking to Nate about this too. I can't imagine, Nate has worked in an office position off and on where he represents a company basically to people who come in. Can you imagine if the people that came in that you didn't like, you mocked? You'd be fired.
I'd be out of a job pretty quickly.
And I want to word this carefully because I don't want to call for a firing. That's not really what I'm saying. But Disney and Lucasfilm, in my opinion, have had no consistency with who they give a job to and who they take it away from. Johnny Depp was not brought back for Pirates of the Caribbean, supposedly under Disney, because of allegations of abuse.
Right.
But we have written statements from people like Pablo Hidalgo and his buddies who will say these douchey things to fans, and they don't get in trouble for it.
Right.
Why?
It's kind of hypocritical. It's very hypocritical of them. They make a product that they think is good. People don't like it, and then instead of like going back on that and changing it or whatever, they bully people.
Yeah.
They attack them. But then they turn around and go, "Oh, but we love everyone. We're inclusive. We want all these other opinions, unless you disagree with me."
Right, exactly. Everyone has freedom of speech and I want to hear what they have to say until they disagree with me.
Yep.
Then I don't want to hear it. That's how I feel about Lucasfilm and Disney just in general, like for the last few years. This needs to change. I do want to end by saying I like Disney and Lucasfilm as far as what they put out. And I think most of the people, like I'd say 99% of the people that work there are cool.
Right.
I'm sure they are. But you have people like Pablo running around here, just giving you a bad name. And I'm not saying fire them, but rein these people in. You have to at least do that, because if you're gonna like not bring back Johnny Depp for allegations and get rid of other people for non-inclusive behavior, and also we're talking about Disney, who furloughed like 30,000 people from their parks and held them on retainer basically for a year, making them think they were going to get their jobs back, outright firing like thousands of them too with nothing, to the point where Disney employees are now going to food shelves to eat.
Yep.
And this is the most magical place in the world. The only news we get about these people now is bad. Why do you expect us not to cover it? Why do you expect us not to get mad at it? And why do you expect it not to come off poorly on your products and your company?
I think a lot of Disney needs a lot of heart change. I'm with you. I'm not going to call for people being fired.
No, I don't think that either. I think they need to rein these people in, though, because if they're going to go around firing people for like bad behavior, they need to have that be consistent. Like,
Yep.
they can't pick and choose. It's like, you need to figure out what you stand for.
Right.
I don't think they know what they stand for. I think they know what they stand for when they get caught.
Right. Well, they stand for getting money.
Right.
So, and sometimes getting money requires compromising some of the morals and values that you preach.
Right, but then don't preach them.
Right, exactly. It
That's
doesn't
my
make
point.
sense.
And my point is, if you're going to preach them, you need to stay true to it, or you're a hypocrite. But I do want them to take disciplinary action on people who do this stuff. And if you do it over and over again, you don't deserve a job.
Right.
I'm not saying fire them outright for one mistake, but that would be that way at any job. It'd be the same way if I was back in teaching and I just did something stupid over and over again. At some point, it's Darwinism that I lost my job.
Yep.
It's not cancel culture.
Right.
It's like I was a dick and I lost my job for being a dick. Whoa.
Wow.
What a surprise. Anyways, let us know what you think in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on this whole situation? What are your thoughts on Disney and Lucasfilm and all these executives getting involved in this stuff? I know this was a little longer than normal. It's one of those videos we didn't plan to make. It just came up about an hour before Nate got here, and it really made me mad, to be honest.